Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the darkness lifts, the brightness appears. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So I'll jump right in. When the darkness finally lifts post-narcissistic relationship, and believe me when I tell you, it will lift. In time, in your time, it will lift. That's when the brightness appears. And what the brightness appears, what that means is that's when the abundance happens. That's where the growth happens. That's where doors open for you. That's where possibilities are endless and you create your own future. Now, this video is an inspirational, motivational video to let you know that this is the healing path I'm referring to. I'm referring to post-narcissistic relationship when you are on the healing path. Now, each and every one of us on the channel, we are all on the healing path, headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. What that means is for you people that have been in the community for years, you understand that you perhaps have reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, and you know that the brightness appears post-narcissistic relationship after you have healed and after you have done the heavy lifting and the hard work, and you've encountered the sleepless nights, and you had a battle with the smear campaign, etc. I will jump into all those things and many more in this video. But for the people on the channel who are new to the community, or the relationship is ending or has ended recently, you may not see the darkness, you may not see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you think that this dark cloud is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. I'm here to tell you it won't. If you practice the tools that I provide for you on the channel, and you read the community's comments, and jump in the community section, and understand there are so many of us who thought that there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And then after a period of time, which I cannot tell you what that period will be, nor can anybody tell you what that period of time will be, when you will heal is when you know that you are healed, and one day you wake up and you feel fantastic. However, you took your time, you self-isolated, you processed childhood wounds. Perhaps you had to see a therapist who specializes and or was in a narcissistic relationship themselves. You had to meditate, you had to slow your life down. I will jump into those things and more also. But there are periods of time, specifically when the relationship has ended, and let's say if it's recently, that certainly applies here, that you don't think you're gonna get through it. You don't think you can go on another day. You don't even want to get out of bed. You don't wanna go to work. You don't wanna see people. You don't wanna communicate with people. Yet you don't know what relationship you just exited because you weren't taught narcissism in school. What you were taught was the basics, what every other student was taught, but you were not taught exactly that narcissism is prevalent on the planet, and perhaps you could be susceptible to entering a relationship with an individual just like that. Here you are on the channel, you're getting the wisdom. My hope is you're applying it and you're moving forward and you're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. But again, those messages will sink in over time. The more videos you watch, the more you consume, the more you will see that I use my messages repetitively on purpose. It is to let you know that each and every day on the healing path, some days will be good, some days will not be good. Some days will be challenging, some days you're not going to want to do anything. That's why the healing path is not linear. But again, my hope is in time, in your time, you will heal. That's why I'm creating this video. Because almost 3 years ago to the date, not 3 years, but almost, I too was discarded, and I did not know what I was up against. I could not wrap my head around an individual that perhaps I did marry, and I did, that they could do this and behave the way they behaved for upwards of 6+ years. But that's what the narcissist does. They enter your life under, they wear a mask and they try to manipulate you, and they get you to fall in love with them, which is exactly what happened to so many of you in the community. And when they do this, once they know they have you, and you are now entering a place called the devaluation stage, or what I like to call the narcissistic fog. That's where you are existing. That is after you've placed the wedding ring on the finger. That is after you've married them. That is after you've moved in with them. That is after you have relocated. That's after you've paid their bills. That's after you've loaned them money. It's after you've started a business with them. It's after you help them get a business off the ground. All of these things and many more are the reasons why the narcissist looks for individuals. They look for high value individuals. And believe me when I tell you, if you made it this far in the video, you are one of them. Having said that, post-narcissistic relationship, you will have so many challenges in front of you. You will have a mountain of work in front of you. And the number one thing you will need to do is to identify if in fact you were with a narcissist. Example, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be your mom, it could be your sister, it could be a neighbor, it could be a colleague, it could be a lifelong friend, whomever. But somewhere along that relationship, something went sideways. And when I say something went sideways, I mean the narcissist showed you a different side of them, and their behavior got worse and worse over time. And then eventually, probably the mask slipped, meaning the narcissist just took their mask off and told you exactly how little they cared about you, or maybe they discarded you, or maybe they kept on coming into your life and exiting, entering and exiting, entering and exiting. You couldn't quite figure out what was going on, but there was no stability in the relationship, and they're always making excuses. And these things add up. As I mentioned on the channel, it's almost like death by 1,000 paper cuts, because every single day you are in a narcissistic relationship, believe me when I tell you, they are looking for ways to manipulate you. They're looking for ways to take advantage of you. They're looking for ways to keep you in the dark, so you never ever think that the darkness will lift. Now, I'm going to fast forward. Post-narcissistic relationship, if you were discarded, again, my heart goes out to you. If you ended it yourself, my heart still goes out to you. Exiting these relationships in any capacity is a very, very challenging thing to do. And as I mentioned, your number one job was to figure out what narcissism was. Nobody told you that narcissism was on the planet. Nobody helped you out. Nobody knocked on your door and said, hey, by the way, this person's a narcissist. If they did, you're very fortunate, but did you believe them? Probably not. So the first thing you had to do is you had to understand and find out what narcissism is. And you found that needle in a haystack when you typed something in Google or in YouTube, like spouse won't talk to me or something like that, and you found my channel, and boom, here you are, you're getting the wisdom. But when that first light bulb moment happened for you, I can promise you, you were probably shocked, you were maybe in tears, you were maybe angry, you were frustrated, you were in disbelief, I can assure you that, because you could not wrap your head around what this individual, why their mannerisms were the way they were throughout the body of the relationship. And then again, like I said, you hit pay dirt or gold when you figured out, oh my gosh, that was a narcissist. And there's a whole community out there of people that have been abused by these people. Yes and yes. So that's the first thing that you had to figure out. When you did that, then the natural progression is you go down the rabbit hole of exploring every bit of your relationship with them from the minute you met them until how it ended. And believe me when I tell you, you will have many sleepless nights. You will have to journal. You will have to meditate. You will have to cry. You'll have to go through the anger stage. But you will have to do this by yourself, most likely, because nobody of your support system, if you have any support system left in place, they're not going to be there for you. They will say they will be there for you, but they'll either not be there for you or they'll get burned out rather quickly because they don't know what the narcissistic abusive cycle is. They don't know it. They didn't go through it. Or maybe they're a narcissist themselves and they don't want you to figure it out. But having said that, you'll have some very, very dark nights. You'll have very challenging weekends. Your support system will have blown up. Perhaps you will have lost your job. Perhaps you will have lost weight or gained weight. All of the friends that you've built up over years probably have disappeared, or most of them. And your own family members, maybe some of those people won't even talk to you anymore either. You're going to find yourself on an island, which is exactly where the narcissist placed you. This is post-narcissistic relationship. They placed you on an island because they've been instilling the smear campaign throughout the body of the relationship, which means they're talking bad about you or making up untruths or partial truths or no truths, or they're insinuating that you did or didn't do certain things. In other words, they're trying to drive wedges between you and anybody that mattered to you, including themselves. That's why they test you throughout the body of the relationship. That's why they gaslight you. That's why they give you the silent treatment. That's why they stonewall you. That's why they ghost you. That's why they don't answer texts. That's why they have no boundaries. That's why they want you to have boundaries. That's why they want you to be their pawn, their puppet, their errand person, the person who pays attention to them and is there for them when they're not feeling the best. But yet when you ask one simple question, they're nowhere to be found. They won't give you the time of day. Now you may be thinking, well, you're being a little dramatic, Andrew. I'm not. This is exactly how it works. Because when you enter these relationships, you enter them under false pretenses. You believe the individual you're entering them with is a like-minded individual, and they are an authentic and genuine individual. They're not. They're trying to milk you. They're trying to get things from you. They're trying to take your resources, which, as I mentioned on the channel, include your time, your money, your energy, your effort, your love, your empathy, your status, your social circle, your health, everything, your finances. They want this for themselves. And right now, with the new supply, if that's where the narcissist is, with the new supply, because let's be real, they are, or with an old recycled supply, they're trying to do the same thing. And they're playing the victim that you were the bad person and that they were victimized by you or whatever. In other words, in the narcissistic relationship, it's bizarro world. What is up is down, what is left is right, what is in is out. That's the way it works. That's why when you're in it, you can't see it. Now again, throughout post-narcissistic relationship, after a period of time has lapsed, I'm not going to tell you what time that is because I don't know, but I'm telling you, with the more work you put into yourself and the more discovery you find out about yourself and more discovery you find out about what narcissism is and how it affected you for a period of time, the more you will heal, and you will have to process things. You'll have to utilize radical acceptance, which means, yes, that relationship is not what you thought it was. It almost took you down for the count, but it didn't. Here you are. But yet it wasn't what you thought it was. And many times people can't wrap their head around what radical acceptance is. It took me a long time to figure it out, but when I did, that's when I had one of the biggest light bulb moments of my life. And I understood exactly that I was where I needed to be. I was where I was supposed to be. That there is no such thing as a coincidence on this planet, that yes, in fact, I was manipulated, that yes, I was in the trauma bond, that yes, the narcissist never loved me, and yes, the narcissist doesn't love anybody. They only saw me and or you or all of us as an opportunity. That's exactly how they see us. That's why you must get the wisdom. That's why you must go no contact. Block the narcissist, delete them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If you can't do that, utilize Grey Rock. But as I'm mentioning on this video, those days, there are many times you can't get out of bed and you think you don't want to go on, you don't want to carry on. And believe me, I know what it's like. It can be a very challenging time in your life, and most likely it is the most challenging time of your life. But then with the more work you put into yourself, or the more work you put into yourself, and the more you process things and you understand that you were targeted, this wasn't your fault, you were manipulated, you did not have the wisdom or the education, you weren't taught this in school. In other words, it's as if an alien life form had you fall in love with them. Let's use that as an example today and see what happens. That is very similar to what I'm sharing with you. Now, is the narcissist a human being? Absolutely they are. But do they love the way you love? No. Do they love it all? No. Do they have empathy? No. Do they care about money more than anything? Absolutely. Do they care about themselves more than anybody else? Absolutely. And yet you couldn't wrap your head around this, how somebody could be this way, because that isn't you. I'll tell you why, or how. Because they're the exact opposite of you. You are a kind, loving, stable, healthy individual, and you want to give and create and help the planet and better the planet. The narcissist wants to take, and when they're done, they want to do what? That's right, they want to take more. That's why they jump from relationship to relationship. That's why they discard people. That's why they don't give people closure. This list goes on, but now I want to flip it. There will be a period of time, trust me. The longer that you place the energy into yourself and not thinking and pining for the narcissist, not playing the blocking and unblocking game, and not doing things that don't serve you. In other words, peeking on their social media or making fake accounts to look at their social media. Those are the things the narcissist does. We don't do those things on the channel. We understand that we are the priority and that we were taken advantage of for a period of time, and we live our best lives once we have healed. But what we do is we take the high road. Because I will tell you right now, trying to get retribution on the narcissist, or payback, whatever you want to call it, it will never serve you. All you're doing is you're going down to the low vibrational state where they exist, and you're playing their game in their arena. That's not good. What you need to do is understand that you have to heal from this. You have to introspect, you have to process the relationship and why you entered it and how you entered it and how you were manipulated. That's exactly what I had to do. And as time goes by, and by the way, time is not the answer. And again, I need to say this. If anybody tells you that you'll heal in 3 months, 6 months, a year, a specific time, they don't know what they're talking about. Nobody can tell you when you'll heal. You will heal when you are ready, and your healing will be a direct result of the amount of work you put into yourself, amount of processing the relationship and understanding what narcissism is and healing childhood wounds, etc., like I mentioned. But I'm telling you, there'll be one day when you will actually get out of bed, you will go to the store, and you will hold your head high. And yeah, you'll be a little nervous, but you'll grab that jar of peanut butter, you'll buy it, and you'll go home and you'll be like, wow, I did it. That was a big step, because it was. Because months ago you couldn't do that. The next thing you'll do is you will actually get out and attend social events when you're ready, or have conversations with individuals, because remember, before you were self-isolating, now you're stepping out a little bit more. And again, there's no path for this. It's all in your time. And sometimes it takes a long time, sometimes it takes a little time. But then you will, basically what you will do is you'll dip your toe into the outside world. It's what you will do. And you will do it many different ways. Perhaps creating a business, perhaps joining a club, perhaps exercising, perhaps seeing a therapist, perhaps all the above. But when you do these things slowly over time, your life begins to improve. Keyword is slowly, but it will improve. And you will begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And as you see that light get bigger and bigger, and you put more work into yourself and less thinking about the narcissist. And yes, side note, you will be ruminating. That's a fact. It's part of the healing path. You will be thinking about, did you do everything correct? Could you have done more? Was it your fault? And all these answers, you will come to the same conclusion, which is the only proper conclusion. No, it wasn't your fault. Yes, you were manipulated. And no, there's nothing you could have done. There's not one thing you could have changed to stay in that relationship 1 minute longer. And why would you want to? 1 minute longer in the relationship, all it would have meant was 1 more minute of abuse. The sooner you exit the relationship, the less verbal abuse you experience, the less physical abuse you experience, and the less spiritual and mental and financial and emotional abuse you experience. But like I said, that light at the end of the tunnel gets bigger and bigger, and then eventually things start to fall into place for you. Doors do open up for you. You create your own opportunities, or opportunities are created for you. Why? I'll tell you exactly why. Because you are no longer placing your energy on the dark narcissistic individual or that relationship. You were consumed by them. Remember, you were placed in the trauma bond. You entered an arena that was unfamiliar territory for you, but yet the narcissist knew exactly what they did to you. And they wanted you stuck in that zombie-like, trance-like state, the narcissistic fog. But again, as time goes by, and time is not the solution, it is a definite positive for you, getting time away from the individual and healing and processing things. But as time goes by and you put more and more work into yourself, and you introspect, and you understand that you were manipulated, and you use the tools that I provide for you on the channel, and you learn the definitions, the glossary, the terms on the narcissistic abusive cycle, then you place boundaries, then you realize, hey, if I'm an empath, I need to become an educated empath. I can't be a people pleaser any longer. I need to say the word no, the strongest word in the English language. And you utilize all these things that I share with you on the channel every day. When you do that, there will be a day, believe me when I tell you, there'll be a day you'll wake up, you'll feel great, and you'll get out and you'll do something new. You'll put one foot in front of the other. The next thing you know, your life will take a great turn for the betterment. And that's when the brightness will shine on you. That is exactly what happens. Remember what I shared with you in the beginning of the video. This is a motivational, educational video. It's to let you know that where you are right now is not where you will be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year. I'm living proof. If you ever want to check any of these videos out I created, go back to March 31st, 2021, my first video ever called Glad You Made It. Take a look at me then, take a look at me now, and notice the way I'm speaking, notice the way I'm looking, notice the confidence, notice my level of energy which has returned. This will happen with you also. Trust me when I tell you. But it won't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, but in your time you will heal, and that brightness will shine right down on you. And when that happens, believe me when I tell you, that's when you will have reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, when there's no more darkness in your life. The darkness is gone. It's in the past. The bright, beautiful, shining light, the brightness that is in front of you, that is your light, that is reflecting back on yourself. And you are creating your own path. You're creating your own future, and you're creating your own opportunities. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And remember, if you're having a challenging day right now, or a couple days, or a week, don't give up. Continue to move forward each and every day. I too was once where you are. I made it. If I made it, you can make it. Believe me when I tell you. Stay focused and stay true. I love you. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Good night, you guys. Bye.